In early 2020, Manana began his journey to become one of the most versatile and prolific surfers on KSF, the most competitive surf server in the world. In just a year, he skyrocketed from rank 138 to rank 18, finally breaching the top 10 in July of 2021. In the next month, he had 15 world records over 350,000 points and was accepted as an official member of KSF. Last episode, we spoke with Marble, who began surfing around the same time. Manana, on the other hand, is a true veteran, surfing for over a decade on Source and CSGO. He is a premier competitor, a reservoir of reservist history, and as of today is the 10th highest ranked surfer in the world, despite taking a 6-month hiatus. In this episode, Manana teaches us how to become a top surfer, discusses the surfing community at large, and brainstorms with my input solutions to what many of us consider to be the imminent death of our game. With analytics at their lowest in years, it seems only cringe reaction content can save us. Like the last time, Nyasel, Crowlington, and Warble's footage was critical to the production of this episode, with new footage from Deanie of GFL and GoFree's record channel. All links are in the description below. And due to pleasant political happenings, Nyasel can no longer make ad revenue. Consider dropping him a couple dollars, it's just the right thing to do. A couple questions about getting good. So I think it would be good for newer players. If you had to give one recommendation to newer surfers who want to get good and they think they're going to put in the hours, what would it be?
I'd definitely say try to diversify what you're doing. You know, you're going to have a favored style. You're going to like tech or unit surf or Maxwell surf or smooth, whatever. Like there's going to be one you like more than the others, but don't only do that. I'd say find a couple maps out of your comfort zone and see how well you can do on them, because getting good at tech is gonna, or for example, for me, I focus on smoother unit stuff, but actually playing some tech maps and getting good at tech was what really helped me get better than just being able to only do a fraction of the maps. And it taught me new things that I was able to take into the maps that I really enjoy and get better at those as well. So
Marvel said the exact same thing. He said, you got to play different maps. If you play one type of map, you will eventually hit a plateau and you cannot get any better.
Yeah, it's definitely the best piece of advice I would give someone who's, even if they're brand new, don't just stick to Utopia and Mesa. You know, do something a little harder, a little more tech focused, even if it's not harder, like a colors or something, you know?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's the bane of my existence is those 24-hour Utopia servers where
yeah, right.
That's our main, I don't weird way to say it, customer. That's our demographic, is the people who are already getting exposed to the game on these CSGO servers that are really popular. And then they just get stuck and then they quit when they get bored.
Yeah, for sure.
But I had a slightly different answer. I'm not a good surfer, but at the point that I'm at, other than getting a bigger mouse pad, for me it was incorporating save lock, both into learning and practice. That was where I'll tell you a little story. For 2 years, I was just playing tier 2 maps, exactly like you were saying. I was never pushing and trying new things. But then at some point, somebody showed me save lock. And then everything made sense. You're not just running the map over and over and getting stuck on the same spot. It's almost like you're learning a song. You have to practice every part of the map, especially the ones that are difficult. And through that, you incorporate these new skills into your repertoire. Does that pan out? Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, save lock's huge. I surfed before save lock was it was really difficult to optimize harder parts of maps. And then once save lock came in, it was, you're able to practice the same thing over and over and over for as long as you want until you are you're nailing it, super consistent. Consistency is a huge thing it helps with. And yeah, so save lock's definitely huge. I'm kind of a hypocrite when it comes to that though. I'm really bad about save locking. I'll lock a map once to learn it, and then maybe one more time just to do a good run. Not even trying to go for minus on the record, just maybe a G1 or a top 10 time, and then I just spam attempts. And it's super inefficient, but I could definitely do some more save locking than I do right now.
Yep, that's the same pitfall. Everybody does it. You just sort of go on autopilot. But I think there's a point to that too. Maybe that's the part where you're integrating those strategies you've already tried to do into your long-term memory so that you can actually, I don't know, not a brain scientist or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's probably a point to that kind of practice.
Yeah, there is. So I will say something that I do with my like spamming attempts is I complete my attempts a lot. It's pretty uncommon that I'll reset even if I know it's worse than my PB, has no chance of improving. I'll still just finish the run. So you'll see like maps like Summit, I have tons of completions on, like way more than most of the other people in top, and it makes it look like I grinded the map way more than anybody else, but in reality I just have a really high completion rate. Like 20 or 30% of my attempts get completed.
Whoa.
So yeah, so I just feel like if I just keep doing runs and actually finishing them, that I'll get more used to doing a run or like getting the end done in a run or something like that. This helped me a lot, and it helped me a lot in the tournament as well. And that kind of setting is just completing everything I start rather than resetting when I see like I'm 10 units down or something.
Whoa, I did not know you were rank 3 on Summit.
Yeah, I'm 3 now. I was 2 before. I don't know. Did Tux beat me?
Oh well, yeah, but whatever,
Okay.
bro.
Yeah.
He's a TikToker. I don't care, bro. No.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That is insane. And SK is right behind you. We talked a little bit about him. Wow.
Yeah.
Cole, that's a crazy top. That's literally half of top 10. Oh man. All right. Well, that's something I never want to look at again. Okay. This is also a difficult one. Do you remember an important map or record that you got, like an important map that you learned or record that you got that changed you how you looked at the game? And for just maybe so like you can get at what I'm saying. For me, it was Surf Cairo, the tier 5 linear. That's the one that's like really big ramps and all that. I don't know what it did, but it forced me to understand what ramping was and how unsmooth I was at that point. And it also reminded me how bad I was just looking at the record and how many units you get off those like first 4 or 5. Do you get what I'm saying? Is there a map or record that's like that for you?
Yeah. So the first one before I started playing on KSF much, Lux. I was super known as a Lux one trick. I went to like every server I could to take the Lux record, and that to me, like, it was like the first record I was ever able to get on any server. So it was like super cool that I was actually taking a record, and so I just kept going with it, and everyone's like, "Oh man, it's a Lux one trick guy, right?" And that lasted for a while. I really liked that map, and it was the one that gave me like motivation to keep going, because it was like the culmination of the hours I'd spent getting good came into getting a Lux record. So that was the first one, and then once I did switch to KSF, definitely Summit. I have taken the Summit record a handful of times. Levi and I battle for it somewhat regularly, and it was one of my first records on KSF was Summit, and that was the one that told me like I'm actually, I'm getting better, and I can compete with a Levi now. And so that was another one and it taught me how to be like ultra smooth on source compared to CSGO's. The times aren't as strong. It's a bit more forgiving how much you can slam into stuff or have bad cuts.
That is a perfect transition into some Manana Trivia. All right. First world record was Summit. You got that. And then
was it really?
Yep, your first world record was Summit on KSF, I believe. On KSF, but not
Yeah.
Then Levi takes it an hour later, which
that hurt.
Oh, it hurt? Man, I don't even know.
It hurt a lot.
See, okay, one thing I'm eyeing, it's not like a bad record, but it's one that is beatable, is Surf Hot Wheels, because Tux like doesn't give a shit about it, and I'm already ranked 4. But
Yeah.
I was going to say Levi took it an hour later. No, what am I saying? 4 months later, the same thing happened. You got the Summit World Record, and then Levi. Oh man! All right, here's the hard question: what was the second world record that you ever got?
Was it Surf and Destroy?
That was third. There was one.
Okay. Was it Tomb Redone?
It was. Ooh.
Okay.
Then
that's another one that got taken, and then I had to take it again.
Oh no! Wait, who took that one?
I think it was Username.
Oh god. Yeah, another tech surfer. Jeez.
Yeah, right.
Oh man. Then Jaturna, which is a very cool map and hard to master apparently.
Yeah, it has some weird ramps and hard cuts that you you want to focus a lot on. Marble talked about it with Tronic, focusing on downward momentum. Like, you don't need to worry too much about horizontal as long as you're falling fast. There's a couple spots on that map where it's the same thing.
Okay. Then one of my personal favorites is Green's Way. Some people don't like that map, but I love the.
It's a cool map. It has a really cool aesthetic. There's a couple ramps I don't like, but overall it's fun. I like it.
Oh, now I have to say. Okay, well, there's the curved ramp to the board. Okay, ramp 1. I'm trying to remember. Ramp 1, ramp 2, they're both in the same direction. Third is perpendicular. Yep. That fourth ramp, the curved one, and then you have to like cut around tight to the right. That really hits it for me. Which one is the one that you don't like?
Yeah, so it's right after that curve.
Oh, you go over the hill, and then that curved ramp before the 2 donuts in the sky.
Yes,
that ramp sucks.
Yeah, that's one I don't like. The one right before that as well, where you go over the hill. There's something weird with the spine where like part of it is like you can go through it or something. I'm not really sure if it's just a little texture thing or what, but it throws me off every time when I think I'm gonna spine it and I end up just going through and landing on the ramp. It's weird.
Yep, but interesting note is the guy that made that is actually a really popular YouTuber right now. He makes like Half-Life 2 animations. Can't remember his name.
Oh, really?
God, hand to God, I swear. But that was
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it makes me think like, well, if we could pull these guys into the surf community to make more maps, what happens? But here's another question for you. First official upload to YouTube for one of your records.
When you say official, you're counting like Warbag and Creelington and all them?
And Go Free.
Oh, wow. It was a Go Free record?
It was a Go Free record.
Oh, man. Would it have been Summit on Go Free?
No, but it was one that I didn't expect either.
Oh, wow. I have no idea. I barely remember that.
Epithet, T4 Linear.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Epithet is one that I grinded because it was in that first tournament.
Yeah, and it's a good map too. I like that map.
Yeah, I do like Epithet.
Then your second Go Free upload, super famous, and you beat MBN, who's traditionally really good on this map.
Was it Frost?
Even more famous.
Okay. Famous MBN map? Dude, I have no idea.
But everybody knows this map.
Was it Subway? No. Associated with MBN? I don't know.
It's right, because every guess I'm gonna have a cut to the map so that people can get a nice visual. Okay.
Okay.
So
yeah, I was thinking Subway because that's the one MBN took in the tournament that got like hundreds of reactions in the Discord.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
All right.
I don't know.
Mesa.
Oh, wow. I took Mesa on Go Free. Wow.
You were one out of 73,000 completions. It was, these records, of course, CSGO is not more competitive, but just by the ratio, you were better than 73,000 other people.
Yeah. Go Free has some good times too. There's some dudes on there. I think MBN's probably still rank 1, but
Yep, and I mean 100 tick is weird because that skip, the like T10 skip is not there, but
It also has on Go Free specifically, just about every map has no max vel. So the end of that Mesa where it's like the super long drop, you're usually like you just kind of slam at the top of the ramp, you have 3,500. But on Go Free you actually surf it and you get like 10,000 units and just zip to the end.
Yes, good point. Oh, yeah. It's weird how like on other servers the settings change everything. Like Kitsune with Tellus or not.
Oh yeah.
Totally different map. Literally the map is completely different with those settings.
Yep. Absolutely.
Now, have you ever gotten a KSF upload?
Not on KSF Records.
Because you've gotten a lot of like Crealington and Warble have gotten lots of your stuff, and a lot of those were good records too.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like most of the time that I thought a record was good enough, someone beat it like right after. Like those summit times. Yeah. Levi would take it in an hour. They're really, I don't know. If I had to say that, like, I don't know that any of my records really, I don't feel slighted by Niasul not uploading any of my stuff to KSF Records, so.
Oh, 100%. And it's happenstance too. There are lots of like amazing surfers with it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So if you were going to grind a record that would be uploaded, like this is your dream record and you have 10,000 free hours or whatever it is, what would it be? Think crazy or big or whatever.
Yeah. If there's one record I could take, um, I've always wanted to take the Goliath record. It's not my kind of surf at all because long maps I'm just terrible at. Big ramps, huge, flicks and cuts, not really my thing. But I always thought it'd be really cool to take the Goliath record, and I think that anyone who takes that would probably get straight on KSF records like the next day. So that would be up there, I'd say.
Immediately. It would be, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Especially if it was a new name that isn't like, oh yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, I do remember just with the new name thing. I remember some of the early records I took was with the Blowfish name, and people had no idea who I was, but they saw fish and like, oh, that's Fish You. So I didn't get hooed as much, but it's because they thought I was somebody else.
Blowfish Og, or something like that. Yes, and so
Yeah.
when you got records under the name Manana, there would be a tiny little blowfish and then an Og right next to it in the reactions. Yep.
Yep, every time.
Now, how would you feel about an InRage record with the new tier 10 skip? And if you know anything about it, can you tell me?
Yeah, that's the one that Tux did, right?
Yes, exactly.
I did it right after him just to get rank 2.
You did it. You did the skip.
I did the skip, yeah.
How hard is it? It looks ridiculous.
So I just kind of copied what Tux did. He uploaded like a streamable of him doing the skip, and he had paint everywhere. Like it was an egregious amount of paint. And so I was like, what if I do that? And
Oh man.
it made it kind of pretty straightforward. Like it made it easy to dodge the little ceiling, like the lip, and hit the correct lamp and all that. So honestly, it didn't take me very many attempts to hit.
Okay, that gives me a little bit of hope. Maybe one day, we'll see.
Yeah, no, it's definitely doable.
Okay, second to last trivia question: how many points do you have?
Right now or like peak?
Let's say right now, and if you know peak, that'd be cool too.
Yeah, right now.
Don't look.
I think I have like 3. No, I'm not looking. I think it's like 375,000.
Perfect. And what was your peak?
Yeah, peak. I got to rank 7 with like 410, I think, and that was back in November. And then I took like this 6-month break, and I'm just getting back into it. So I have like 40,000 points to make up for.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay, what do you think you're gonna go for first?
Probably try some retakes. I know that I lost a bunch of maps to Calf, so I know he's not like it's Calf. He takes everything, but it's always funny that we end up on the same maps a lot, or I take something from him and he takes something from me. Like we just go back and forth. So it's a fun little, I wouldn't say rivalry because he usually ends up winning, but it's fun. Like Iceland, I think it's called, is one that we've kind of taken each other's records on.
Ice World, the tier 3
Ice World, yeah.
Yeah. That I don't like that map. That map, it seems really, especially the first CP, it seems like weird. Oh,
yeah,
the spin.
For me, the spin, yeah, it's hard to cut that well because the ramp before it like kind of angles upward, and you have to try to flick off of it like under a ceiling and perfectly over the floor. And if you mess it up at all, you're gonna have to be spinning either super fast or you'll have to like flick hard to the right just as you get to the spin to get a good transition into the ramp after the spin. So it's super important to hit that cut, and it's so hard.
Yeah, and
it's really nice when you do though.
Do you use variable yaw speed?
I do, yeah.
On a map like that, that's when it can be really impactful.
For sure.
Okay.
So if you want a fun piece of Manana trivia that it's something that's like I would know, but not really anyone else knows, is so I think it's a common thing for CSGO surfers to hold space the whole run. So I hold space, and space is it's a crouch jump, like an alias, so I crouch and jump at the same time. And so I'm holding space, which means I never uncrouch because I don't let go of space to uncrouch. So what I do instead is, so I could keep holding space, is I have a key bound to uncrouch. So every single run starts with me crouch jumping and then pressing a key after I leave the start zone so that I can uncrouch. rather than just letting go of my crouch
What?
button.
Wait.
And that same key is it's bound to switch my yaw because I pre-strafe using turnbines.
Ah, okay.
So I'll pre-strafe with a higher yaw and then hit my key to uncrouch, which will switch it to the lower yaw, like 60 or something. Because I like using a lower yaw than a higher yaw, but I can't pre-strafe with a higher yaw or with a lower yaw. So all that happens at the start of every run.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I thought you just like were for some reason you wanted to hold you to keep up the habit of holding space.
Oh no, that's exactly why I did it. But
Oh,
then when I became a yaw toggler is when I threw that on the same key.
now it's justified. Now it makes sense. All right. First top 10 on KSF. I'm probably wrong about this, but I think I know the answer.
First top 10. If it probably was Lux, if I had to guess.
You think it was
Oh
Lux?
no, it was Surf Y.
Okay, well, oh, okay. So I had Elites March 30th, 2019, which seemed really late. But you think, wait, can you say the name of the map? I forgot it.
Surf Y, the one that Louis streamed a lot to get a
That
top or to
terrible
get record
map.
on.
Oh,
Yeah,
this.
it's awful.
I won't even complete it. It's
I don't blame you.
disgusting. That's interesting.
But
Those
it
long
just
maps are useful.
depending on when he got that record, because I would go into his server and hang out with him sometimes, and there was one point where I went for a run and got like rank 5 or 6, and I know that was pretty early into when I was getting tops on KSF.
All right, last trivia. Do you know what the first map you ever beat was?
Wow.
Yeah, you gotta dig deep. You might be digging all the way to 2010. It's gonna
Oh
happen.
jeez. Um I do remember Overgrowth was really early for me.
The tier 4.
Yeah.
Oh.
Um Jeez, I'm not sure. I think it might be one of the maps also that I did it and I didn't get a group on it, like worse than group 6. So I don't know. I know I have a few of those, probably one of them.
I think it might have been Mesa for me. So I started on Gmod where they had a parachute plugin so that you could complete things easier.
Okay.
That's
That's
how
like
you.
where you like hold space and you like kind of float or something.
Oh man, that's how you become a
Yeah.
terrible surfer. The habits I built, even just like the fact that then in the air I would just spam turbines left and right if I mooned something so that I could still make it in, dude.
Oh yeah,
So
for
bad.
sure.
Oh my god. So we
Bad
can
habits
get.
are hard to break.
Oh, it's yep, and that's why tutorials are good. I want
Yeah.
to transition a little bit more back into your career. What was the process of getting top 10 like? And so that people, just so that they know, KSF gives points for everything like map completions, group times, which is where you are ranked, but most importantly for top 10s. And you have over 240 top 10s. Like the breadth of your knowledge of these maps is really, really high. Can you tell me what the process was like of maybe getting the top 10, but also getting all these tops in general?
I already mentioned how I grinded those tournament maps during the first Surfs Upside Down. That was where I started my kind of top 10 farming. So I also mentioned that I'm really bad with map names. So rather than like specifically targeting a map that I wanted to get a top 10 on, I would just RTV and press 1. Didn't care what the map name was because I probably wouldn't have known it anyway. And I just kind of went on that map until I got top 10, unless it was like egregiously terrible, like a Surf Y or a Fruits 2 or whatever. At that point I just RTV again and hit 1 again.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it was basically just RTV, hit 1, play the map until I got top 10, and just do it over and over and over again. And every once in a while I'd be like, man, that map was really fun, I should go back and throw it on my to-do of getting the record or getting top 3 or whatever I wanted at the time, which I also think goes back to the whole playing a wide variety of maps.
Yeah.
Is I literally didn't care what the map was, I just hit 1 and go to it. It gave me some pretty cool maps. Like I still have, or I think I have a couple records from when I did that. Surf and Destroy is one that I went and found. It was a pretty easy top, and then decided, maybe I should grind for record, and then I got it, and rolled R took it, and then I got it again, and rolled R took it again, and then I think I got it again, and it's been like that for a bit now.
That's interesting. And so what that shows me about how good you are is that you could literally like you could get onto a map, learn the route, practice the route, and then execute. And then potentially, would you get a top on that first rotation, or would it be like, yeah,
Most of the time, yeah, I'd get it in the first rotation. On I was usually using a private server, so like an hour. Um, it would take, yeah, usually in that first hour I would get the top that I wanted and just move on to the next. There was one thing a while back, I think Tux or Orson or somebody, Orson being Angle CS, did a little like analysis of all the points and completions and whatever people have, and I had the highest points per hour, which I thought that
oh,
was pretty cool.
that's
Yeah, it
really
was
cool.
digging pretty deep. Not a very useful stat because a lot of people that are in the top now got good on source, whereas I switched over once I was already pretty decent. But I did think it was pretty cool that my top farm actually yielded results as far as how efficient I was with getting points, and that eventually culminated in getting into the top 10 on the surf top.
Wow, and that's a really thoughtful way to put that too. Like, I mean, there are a lot of people in the top 10 who came from other games. Like, what it'd be Levi, Levi Joshua username. Oh shit,
Marble.
Marble, because he came from both
uh
Horizon and B Hop. Yeah, but
yeah, I
yeah.
don't, who is in the top 10 right now? Oh, actually, okay, I think Calf, didn't Calf start on CSGO as well, or am I wrong?
Oh man, that's another.
And
I don't know. I don't know in way like when I interview him or whatever it's going to be. I have to do a lot of research since he is like the rank one or whatever. I don't know a lot about him or Levi. Levi, especially to me, is an
okay,
enigma.
yeah, I think they both started, I might be wrong about Calf, I'm pretty sure about Levi though. They both started on an Australian CSGO server, and they make fun of it a lot
Oh,
now.
I see. Okay, that's a really
Yeah.
good piece of information. Okay.
Yeah, and then Chromalia, I think he surfed for the first time on Team Fortress, but he would like identify as coming from CS:GO. So yeah, actually most of the surf top is learned somewhere else.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, so Reen and Radavari also came from TF2. Okay.
Okay, and
So,
I think Saxton as well.
so yeah. Oh, and he was in the first Surfs Upside Down, right?
Yeah, he got second to Green Void in that.
So
He everyone loved watching him surf because of how low his sense was. He was so smooth,
he's so smooth.
uh, and I think I don't remember, I think it was on KSF Records, but it was like 5 buttery smooth records surfed by Saxton, and just everyone loved it because it was so like so smooth.
Hold on. 5 buttery smooth Saxon. I don't know what you're talking about. Hold on. And yeah, there were lots of. I can't find it on a first Google search. It will be in the video. So, more generally, how would you characterize your style? Like, if I had to take a really brief look, I would say that you're more of a tech surfer. Like, looking at Surf and Destroy, Jaturna, Tomb Redone specifically because of that spin and the, like, getting into it and then the B hop afterwards. How would you characterize your style?
Yeah, so it's funny. I super prefer short linear maps that are decently smooth and unit focused. So like a summit or whatever. But all my records end up being on tech stuff, like Surf and Destroy and Tomb Redone. I also have Consistenza Diversa.
Yes.
That's a crazy map. It's like 2.5 two and a half minutes long stage with like crazy tech in it. Frequency I have, so like it's my preferences and what I end up getting records on are like super different.
And but then I see the unit looking at my notes. We've got like Andromeda, Conserve. These are records where you have high tops and you had records on them. Play, Squirrels on Vacation, which I don't like the
Oh,
first CP of at all.
yeah, Squirrels on Vacations kind of a tragedy.
Yep. Zealand for
Yeah.
sure. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. I like that map both because of the aesthetic and that it's smooth, but I cannot figure it out. That would be a
for
nice map
for
to get some coaching on
for Squirrels or Zealand.
for Squirrels on Vacation.
Yeah, so the reason I say it's a tragedy is because I grinded it a good bit and went back and forth with a couple people on getting the record, and finally I got what I thought was like a solid time, and I think Warbag or somebody uploaded it, and I was like, that's awesome. And then a little bit later, Levi beat it by like more than half a second or something, and it was miserable, like how big of a gap he just threw onto that map with ease.
You know, it'd be really cool. It'd be really cool if Levi was cheating, and then I could do like a full virtual. We caught the cheater at the top,
right.
but he's not.
Using slow mo this whole time.
And he's had I'm sure he's had hand shows, and KSF has at some point like authenticated him, right?
Oh, I don't know that he has ever needed authentication. No one suspects him of being a cheater. He's streamed as well, so it'd be hard to stream and get away with cheating and still smashing records like he does. So no one's ever thought Levi's a cheater.
It's what's interesting about that is that for B-Hop, like if somebody gets a record on a strafe map, they get hounded until there's a hand show with a cam, and then you go through your task manager and you show that you don't have any other programs, you don't have your opti running or whatever it is, and then I don't know. For surf, I guess
it's super different like community mindsets. I can't really I didn't B-Hop much, especially not at a very high level, so I can't speak too much on how that goes, but yeah, surf, everyone seems pretty okay with somebody taking a record. I can only think of one or maybe two times where there was like a proper hand show needed.
One thing that we had on GFL was a guy named Skywalker who came in and was destroying everything, and we couldn't figure out who he was. And I like looked everything. We thought he was Cal from CS 1.6, but it wasn't. It wasn't him.
Oh, it's not him. I thought it was Callie as well.
You remember this?
I don't. I thought that Skywalker was Callie. I don't really know this story though.
I think it might have been Batman. I'm not gonna fucking lie, because I have no evidence. Totally speculation. But he would do this weird thing in the beginning where he would like turn, and you could see it in the replays. It was just a weird turn, and it reminded me of watching Batman streams. So like that would be a cool little thing if he was cheating on GFL, and that's how he was testing his spot. But no confirmation.
It would be a fun little history of Batman thing. Is like, yeah, he got into surf by tasking times on a CS:GO server.
Yeah, like what the fuck? And Skywalker was really good. He took like one of my only records, but I do want to get more future oriented. I want to talk about what's gonna happen. Momentum Mod is releasing hopefully this winter. That's what I think Goknak said in the most recent Q&A, that he would like to make it a Christmas present. Have you gotten a chance to try Momentum Mod, and what do you think so far, if you have?
Yeah. So I got a key for Momentum probably about a year ago for the QA testing of maps on KSF. The whole submission process is you submit your map, and then there's a QA team where 3 separate people have to approve the map, make sure there's nothing wrong with it aesthetically, and that there's no bugs or like no bad ramps with ramp glitches on them all the time. So when I got into that QA testing, I asked Goknak for a key, and he gave me one. So that's what I use it predominantly for now. It's really cool. They did a really good job of getting the same sort of feel as Source, I feel like, and I enjoy playing around on it. It's also cool to have a chance to try out modes that I've never even heard of. Like, I had no idea what A-Hop was or Sticky Jump or any of that before Momentum, so it's definitely been like some cool exposure for those really small communities too.
It's gonna be a place for them to come together, like especially for
Right.
that has nothing, right?
Yeah.
It's also like maybe thinking about very far future. It's cool content for y'all as top surfers, from my perspective, because it's like, oh, Manana tries rocket jump for the first time, and that could be a little 10-minute bit where we bring in somebody who rocket jumps. Like there's a YouTuber named H2O, HTWO. I don't know.
Okay.
And he rocket jumps, and he might be making some Momentum content. These other game modes are really easy stream content for y'all to like hop on for an hour and try a new thing, and that's something the Momentum Mod brings that currently you can do, but isn't convenient at all. But
yeah,
on the other hand, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I definitely agree. That's like, it'd be cool to see how a top movement player in one mode can shift to another. Like we see it a lot with Surf and B-Hop, but not so much with one of those modes, and like you said, conk or sticky jump or rocket jump or whatever. So it'd be cool to see like how the skills translate, and if any rocket jumper can become like a top surfer or whatever.
Ooh, I want to see what the surfers can do in these other game modes. I want to see like, because there is surf and rocket jump, but the air acceleration is different, unfortunately.
Right.
But maybe there's some sneaky things we can do, like at low speeds. We'll have to see. One thing that isn't going to be affected is probably KSF. Despite the fact that Momentum Mod might be competitive monetarily, it's likely that KSF will continue to exist. Where do you think that Momentum Mod will function then as? Do you think just as a tool for like KSF mappers and quality assurance testers, or do you think it could do something else?
Yeah, I think that it'll predominantly be that tool. So I say that because it's in like a middle ground of CSGO surfers, people who like stick to CSGO usually stay there because they like the community. They like playing with friends and meeting new people and just hanging out, talking, not so much getting good at surf, but just having it as background while they are, talking with people.
Yeah.
And Momentum's not really going to have as strong of a community aspect for that. Whereas on the flip side, KSF is like the hyper competitive, no one's talking in chat, everyone's on private servers grinding out times. There won't really be much of an incentive for somebody to switch off of KSF and into Momentum other than to save money on a private server or VIP or whatever. So it's like that weird kind of tweener, and that makes me agree that it'll probably be more of a tool for most people. There'll definitely be people who main it, and there'll definitely be really competitive times too. And surely some of the big maps like a Mesa or Air Control is going to have somebody from KSF go on there and do it just for the clout, But I don't think very many, if any, of the top KSF surfers will switch to Momentum. I think it'll be more people who are like really good but not quite that top level who decide to main it, and then you'll see some people like Crash Fort and whatever who are already pretty active on it stick to it. So
Yep, that's about what everybody's expecting.
yeah.
Now I have a little different idea. I think that Momentum Mod, particularly in the ability to mod the server more easily and mod the game more easily, this is my 200 IQ idea. Surf Battle Royale. Now hear me out. Okay. Round 1, 64 players. Tier 1 map. Bottom 32, they're done. They get to spectate. Round 2, Tier 2 map. You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah, that's a cool idea. I think it was, I don't know if you know who Lucy TLM is.
Yeah.
He hosted a tournament that was sort of a similar like feel to it, where I think they had 16 people and the worst of the 16 was eliminated, and they moved on to the next map, and it was 15 people, worst of the 15, and so on. So, but yeah, if it was something that a community could do without needing a whole tournament and everything, just something you could pick up and do whenever you want, that'd be awesome.
Yes.
It reminds me of if you know much about Trackmania.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cup of the day. I always thought that'd be a really cool, like, it's not feasible really in surf because mapping is a really long process compared to Trackmania. It has like the set blocks you can do.
Right.
But it would be really cool to have like a cup of the month or something where a new map is picked to be like everyone gets on and tries to do the qualifiers and then goes into the elimination like battle royale round. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, and that seems fair because you get a whole month. But I'm thinking of something even more unfair. That even like once a week or once a month, because this is an easy tournament to run. Top surfers, top 64 people available that want to practice or whatever it is. But instead of that tiering thing I was talking about, where you start on a tier 1 map, every round is a completely random map out of the 600 maps in the KSF pool.
Oh, wow.
Round 1, you could pull corruption. And that means only like
there's like 4 people.
4 people, 32 people rage quit before we even got to the start zone. Oh, yeah. But that's something that Momentum offers. But then the more I think about it, it's probably also possible both in CSGO and CSS. And it would just take Like I don't know if you know Infra from GFL. Maybe you do.
I do, yeah.
Somebody like that who really knows how to code and knows. Oh yeah, I don't think it would take it very long to do that.
Yeah, I'd imagine you could. Infra's super smart,
Oh yeah.
so there's one cool thing with Surf is there's a lot of talented developers that put a lot of time into making better plugins or whatever for their respective servers. Infra, like you said, Rio did it a lot for Horizon. He made RNG fix as well. So that's really cool to see how good people are doing that stuff and that they actually put time into doing it for Surf.
I didn't even think about Rio. Yeah, and I remember that name because I think I just talked about RNG Fix in the last video or something, and I didn't realize
Okay.
he was a here. He's so Rio. He makes RNG Fix, but he's also Horizon for both.
Yeah, he
properties, right?
made he made the timer and everything for Horizon.
Oh shit!
If you've heard of BotPath, it's kind of a infamous Horizon tool.
Oh, the line.
The line. He made that. It was originally supposed to be a B-hop tool to show like the path that they take. But he moved it over to Surf, and Horizon became the line writing server.
Terrible.
It'd be really cool if it was like a practice only thing.
Yeah.
So you could ride your line and save lock, and then once you go into a run, there's no line. But yeah, I don't want to get too deep into that because it gets a really deep rabbit hole of what people think about BotPath.
Well, we'll step off of it. I always had an idea of like a tutorial map that was tier 4 unit, but had a line, so it could be like tier 2. And so you could teach new surfers, here's what it looks like to actually use your units from the start zone and from strafing and everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that could be an interesting idea.
Yeah, kind of like a progress where the ramps like change color when you go faster.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
I like progress even just as a map to run. I like the
Oh yeah.
but it's broken on momentum. On momentum, the entry to stage 5, the skip, doesn't have RNG fix, and so you can't do it consistently.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Weird.
Yeah, that's always been weird. Beetle had to teach me how to do that. The little horseshoe thing.
Wait a minute. Wait, on momentum?
Not no on Source. Back when the map first came out, Beetle had the record, and everyone was like, "How did you get that many units off of the horseshoe thing?" And he taught everyone.
I had a lock that is it. You go at the very bottom and you go in at an angle, like you just like flick a little bit before you hit it. No.
Pretty much, and you have to like make sure you don't hold space, and you can crouch at a certain time to come off it a little earlier.
Okay, I'll run it, and I'll get back to you.
Sure.
When were you most active on Surf? Was that from 2018 to 2021? It would have been right around Surf's Upside Down one was the major. Good.
Yeah, it probably would have been 2019 to like late 2018, but mostly 2019 into 2021. There weren't really very many breaks in there for me. Maybe just like a short, like a couple months or whatever. But yeah, definitely my most active. Who knows though? I mean, I'm getting back into it. It'd be cool to retake what I've lost.
Do you ever see yourself returning, and do you have a plan to return?
Yes, I'm just I'm messing around on CS:GO mainly right now. GFL's having a tournament, and I'm just playing on their qualifying server to see how that goes.
What?
So.
What?
You didn't know about the GFL tournament?
These motherfuckers.
I see. Yeah, they just announced it. I think 2 days ago, maybe yesterday.
Yeah. Points race. Okay, and what I love is their top 10 challenges. I think it's a really good idea to take, like, to keep top surfers on. But
it's a pretty cool thing. They got 12 people that like auto qualify for the tournament, out of the 16, and then the other 4 slots are up for grabs. They chose the 2 most completed maps from tiers 1 to 6 on their server and put it onto a separate server that you can join, and the 4 people with the most points at the end of I think the next week or so will get those last 4 spots for the tournament.
Okay, so who default Mookie, Benoe.
Liquidator's in there. KSF
Liquidator?
people know Liquidator, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's gonna be very interesting to watch. Who else?
Yeah.
Oh, don't tell me. No, not Apex. Uke. Is Uke in?
Yukizen, yeah.
Oh, Uke is a Enigma too. Tier 1 god.
Yeah, right. I remember him I don't think one tricking is the right word, but he like nonstop played Leet and he was like 12 years old or something.
Wait, how?
This is years ago.
So wait, how old is he? I'm 23. So if
Yeah.
everybody that's younger just makes you feel bad. Do you know how old he is?
I don't know how old he is now. I think he's probably Marble's age, maybe like a
Okay.
16 or so, but
He's gonna be
he might even be
robust.
younger. You'd have to ask him.
I saw him on KSF not too long ago. Uke, if you're listening, just fucking spend like 1,000 hours on KSF. Get some fucking records, my boy. You could do it. So I think my next point was going to be, given that we're adults, and I know you're an adult too, we have like not a lot of time. Are you going to be able to return in the same capacity as you think you were before?
So when I was in my peak before, like in the past, 3, 4 years up until the end of last year, I was in college, and so it was pretty outside of classes. I didn't have much to do. I was a pretty bad student. Like I got good grades, but I waited until the last minute for
Same.
everything, homework and projects and all that. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
studying, whatever. So yeah, that time was just spent surfing.
It was
And
very good.
yeah, but now, I have a full-time job and all that's going on. So it's a little less time, but yeah, I think I could. I don't know if I will, but I think I could invest the same amount of time. Probably be less time and hopefully just get to the same level I was before though.
Yep, that's the hope. And
Yeah.
in what other ways do y'all like KSF members contribute to the community? And there are definitely like amazing things that y'all do.
Yeah. I think that something that's really awesome with KSF that really is pretty prevalent through most like speedrun esque communities is they're really open to like sharing strategies and helping people get better. It's very rare that someone will like hide a strategy that they're going to use to get the record, or if even if you're like rank 1 and the person who's rank 2 comes to you and like, hey, how did you get this many units off this ramp, like you just tell them. It's cool to see people improve the map records even if it's your own record. um so that's a big thing I think a lot of KSF members do, is they're really helpful to explaining things to people who aren't at that high level yet, helping people get better and all that. And then of course there's Calf and Louis and all the big streamers who are in KSF do a lot of community engagement stuff. Calf, especially with the tournaments, always pulls huge numbers on Twitch and exposes people to surf. Uh, getting in with the CS:GO ESL.
That was
So they
so cool.
show surf videos. Yeah, showing surf videos during their tournaments and Calf's interview with them, and uh, yeah, really just the community outreach exposure sort of aspect of it.
Oh, lots of okay. I clipped Caffrey's interview at a point where he thought he fucked up and he was reacting to it and it was hilarious. But for the first time ever, I saw him teaching the woman who was interviewing him how to surf on Utopia, and he did amazing. He had a good personality. He was clear and concise. I was like, God damn, that ESL thing where they partnered was awesome. I wondered how
Yeah,
they got involved. I wonder if ESL like reached out to them or whatever it was. That was super super cool. It's too bad
yeah,
that it's
it
not.
was really cool.
Do we know why it's not continuing or why ESL chose
Oh,
not to?
I don't. I wasn't really involved in that
Yeah.
other than being in KSF at the time. But yeah, hopefully more stuff like that can happen, because it's really cool to see new people come into surf and see it grow, especially when it's in like down times. Not as many people playing or setting records. So
And now I've completely forgotten. I was going to touch on something else, but I cannot remember. You said something really. What were we even talking about? Oh, forget it. I started a year and a half ago, and I think my intent was to create content where there was a vacuum, where there wasn't content already being created. So there were like, if you look up CS:GO surf, all the videos are by people who have not surfed except for I think Woody or Wooly or some guy. Um, and I also know the surf is pretty small. But when I started a year ago, I thought I'm gonna just like use this as a testing ground to make content because I really like this game. I had the idea when I was in college. I was in like my sophomore year of making YouTube content for this. Eventually, now I've been like you. I've been out and I've been working for a year now, and it's inspired me never to fucking get a job again and to do YouTube because it's terrible. I just so you know, this is not going to be in the video. I think one thing that I've reflected on, I know this is sort of a long-winded question, is that my content is created for insiders, people who already know a lot about surf. It's an unfortunate thing, and I've tried to create some more entry content, which are like content designed to grab the attention of a broader audience and then convert them into players and eventually insiders, right? That's what you want to do if you want to grow a community. What kind of content do you want to see as an insider? That was the whole lead up to that. Sorry. But just so that you know where my intentions are coming from. I didn't even talk about this with Marble, which is to create content for the game for both, for entry and for insiders. Is there things that I have not done that you really want to see as an insider?
Right. So honestly, before you did your, I forget what the first
Cyberwave
record video was. A Cyberwave. Okay, yeah, Cyberwave. Before you did that, I was always talking about like, man, it'd be so cool if we had like our own Summoning Salt virtual sort of video creator. And so for the longest time, I really wanted those kinds of videos. So it's awesome. I'll say that you've made a few of them, and they've all come out really good. So that's one thing. I love those videos. So like, if you're willing, or someone out there who wants to help or do their own stuff about just history of surf, it's really cool to me because I've gone through a lot of it. Like, I've been surfing for a long time. So it's cool to have like a blast from the past of like, oh man, I remember in 2014 when Truffle, took the bonus record on Surf Fast, and
Yeah.
there was like 1,000 people watching him, and it was so cool. So yeah, just like history videos are awesome to me. As far as like entry goes, I know that Orson Angle CS on his YouTube did like a little brief tutorial for like CS:GO Surf, like starting with super basic, like this, press A and D sort of thing, up to talking about, more advanced like under and over catching ramps and stuff like that. I don't know that he continued it, so if someone wanted someone who has like really good surf knowledge, kind of made more of those. I learned stuff from those videos, and I've been surfing for a decade,
Same. They were so good, and they were so well made too.
Exactly. So yeah, so stuff like that. And when you get especially advanced, like Tux teaches me stuff all the time. When it comes to like Maxwell, how you can go over 3,500 when it's off grid and stuff like that. When like I really like the super advanced tactics, like using the Pythagorean theorem to figure out how many units you can get off of a ramp and whatever.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's super awesome. So when you get into like the real nitty gritty of surf, I think that's cool for those of us who've been around for a long time, and can also, when it's easier tactics and stuff like what Angle CS did, helps people get into. I mean, he has like, I think like tens of thousands of views on some of those videos. So
50K. 50K. How much?
Exactly.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
He inspired me 100%. And I think one of the things I loved, I think I watched it twice, was the podcast that he did, the long 3-hour one.
Oh yeah.
And there's so many little nuggets of information in there. It's too bad that he didn't continue, but maybe he'll come back.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Yeah, Copium.
And he's doing something really cool right now. A little plug.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
He is making... one thing I was thinking of for new content, and I'd like to pose it to you, is player profiles. We already talked a little bit about this for like Nate and Lemix and SK. And I'd also like to do Default and Dawn from CSGO.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound?
Yeah, those are pretty cool. I just back to tournaments again. Whenever for CAF at least, I think that for Surf's Up, the first tournament that oh wow, I'm blanking on his name. Who hosted Surf's Up?
No.
He does the top of the hats every year.
Oh wait a minute, hold on. And he streams.
I can't believe I'm blanking.
Streams.
Truck. It's just his name backwards. Yeah, Truck. Wow. Yeah, even in his tournament. So they did little like they come to us before the tournament, they're like, hey, give me your cents and DPI and uh when you started surfing, how old you are. And then every once in a while they'd ask for like a cool fact too. So like they would mention where someone started surfing, or how long and how many inches their 360 is and stuff like that. The legendary 3 foot 360 or whatever it was. uh yeah, so if those were like made into like easily accessible and digestible videos that are just a handful of minutes long about um not only just the ones that everybody knows, Calf and Levi and Joshua and Roldar, but about like the good surfers that aren't quite as known, like your SK and your Default and whatever. That'd be really cool just to see how all the cool stuff that the community has in it.
Yep. And so the plan is for these smaller guys, for like Nate, Lemix, Default, all that, like 10 minutes. Then for y'all, the top 10, longer, like 30, 40-minute things with a whole narrative. It's it's gonna take a lot of time. That would only be something that would happen if I was doing this longer than 6 months.
Right.
Leaving
Yeah.
Levi for the very end. Levi is gonna be like a
He's
mystery.
the culmination.
Oh yes, and I'm hoping there's some sort of narrative there that he didn't just like no life it. Like maybe he like was living in a homeless shelter for a little while or something like that. We'll have to see.
He does have his laptop arc. That'll be fun to explore.
When he's playing on a terrible computer and then Calf bought him a computer. Yes, that's the angle.
Yeah.
You've done it, Manana.
We have our plot. Now we just have to put the pieces together.
My man, I am out of written down questions. I think we have talked about like a lot of interesting stuff. I have an unfortunate. For the first 3 minutes of this, I was not recording, and you told me a little story about what happened during Surfs Upside Down 1. Can you just retell? Sorry, I know this
Oh
is
yeah, no
weird.
worries.
Can you retell that?
No, you're fine. Yeah. So to just like the moment that I realized that I was getting good at surf,
Yes.
it was during that Surfs Upside Down 1 tournament that CAF hosted. I wasn't invited because I had only been surfing on KSF for a couple weeks by the time he was organizing it. So I didn't expect to be invited or anything. I wasn't even that good. But they released the map pool, the 16 maps. Each player picked one, and I was like, man, I should try these maps out. I should grind with them and see if I could have been competitive in this tournament, just for my own curiosity. And I got a top 10 time that I like held through the tournament on like 12 or 13 out of the 16 maps. And it was competing with guys. I don't remember who all was in the first Surfs Upside Down, but I'm pretty sure like Roldar and Green Void and Marble was in there, and Levi and uh, whoever else. So it was really cool that I was able to like properly compete on these maps that are being grinded to death for a tournament. That I was able to compete on them and hold good times on them, and it made me feel like, yeah, maybe if I was in this tournament, I could have done reasonably well. And so that was like a moment for me of like, wow, I'm actually like my skills are coming together in surf.
The culmination of a lot of hours and then a little bit of elbow grease, and it just seemed like it was
Yeah,
possible.
yeah, exactly.
And then you
Yeah, I
did it.
think that realization of like it being possible that I play in these tournaments, that I beat these people, uh, that's what kind of gave me a real interest in surf and getting good at it and becoming a top 10 player.
My man, thank you so much. Like this was phenomenal. uh Especially some of the harder questions I tossed to you. Do you have any questions for me, like things that you want to know about what I'm going to be doing or anything like that?
Yeah, I do have one question. A lot of people think that surf is like heading to its death right
Yeah.
now, like
Oh yeah.
it's in its biggest downswing pretty much ever. Um, do you like agree that surf is like really dying this
Yeah.
time? And do you think there's any ways for KSF or for content creators or for me or whoever to prevent that?
So the day that Surf officially died was the last day that SOAPVAR streamed, and I mean that in all seriousness. Uh, I saw him when he was at 60 viewers. And then I kept watching and I saw it creep to 300. And it wasn't just that. It was that he had, we call it a personality. It was actually a set of behaviors, a set of reactions, the use of his voice, ooh, whatever it is. Sorry for your ears. He learned it over the course of all that time that he was streaming. And it was amazing. The fact that a dead game was pulling 300 viewers, that's top 1%. You will never get that again. And then he left. Copium. Doubters were going to win all their points. And then he had to shave off all his hair. When he shaved off all his hair, that was when I was convinced if he continues to do this, he will be a 2K Andy. He's going to pull 2,000 viewers. He just had it. And then he left. And I understand completely why. So the way, this is going to sound absurd, that we revive the surf community is getting Soap back. We get him streaming. We get him doing some easy gauntlets, some other games, something where he's in the community back again, doing the same thing if he can. Josephine, who is his mod, was simply amazing. Also needs to come back, hopefully, or we just get somebody else. I think they were very, very good. That stream did not have a lot of problems. And Caffrey's doing the job of just keeping like those like top 500 people in the stream, and they're somewhere where they can come and be communal. And it's also at an off time because he's in Australia, which is awesome. Means you're catching Asia, means you're catching either the beginning or the end of Europe, and a little bit like the same for the US. But there, Australia is also a downside for him because he can't stream at 9 a.m. US time,
right?
Which is European prime time, up until 12, and then it's good for us too, especially during the summer. Okay, the other reason why Surf I think is dying is because of a disjunction between the CS:GO player base, that is 24-hour Utopia servers, and GFL Sneaks Boner.gg, right? These more authentic surf places. And also a disjunction between the Leafy and Raccoon Eggs viewers who have been exposed to the product, but were never integrated into the product through content or advertising. We have survived as a game without any advertising, without major promo for like 10, 15 years, right? We were never really picked up by a game, even though we were in CSGO, and then flagshipped as a product. Momentum Mod serves as a flagship product for Surf because it is free, it's competitive with other games because it's just a good product, and it has an existing player base, which will not migrate over, but will supplement both through content and through records and participation. So there is an influx point where we can get a lot of people into the game through that. But the thing that's going to really count is entry content designed to target people who already play CSGO, Surf, or have seen the content through major YouTubers. Sorry for the very convoluted, but that's my analysis of what's going on right now. We have like people who are basically getting hedged. They're being lost from the player base on CSGO because they come onto a server, they play for a little bit, they don't understand what's happening, and then they leave. There's nobody like picking them up and integrating them into a community. GFO was really doing an amazing job of that. Sneaks was also doing a great job of that. 24-hour Utopia servers will be the death of our game because people will come in, they'll get exposed to a product that's the smallest fraction, the lowest resolution representation of what the game could be, and then they say, okay, this is boring, and then they leave. That's terrible. We really don't want that to happen. The solution to that is CSGO trolling content, which, well, it's one solution, right? That is an old archetype used by lots of people, JC the Caster, Leafy to a lesser extent, Raccoon Eggs, right, where you go onto a CSGO server, but then that can, well, my idea is that you have Levi, for example, go onto a CSGO server and keep like asking, how the fuck do I play this? What's going wrong? You get him with like 100, 500 sensitivity, so he looks terrible. And so then, reactions for 10 minutes, you gather content, whatever it is, and then they say, okay, let me try this. And then you have them like try to get the top or the world record on the map very quickly and then capture the reactions. That is a product designed specifically to get newer surfers who will stay for they'll like be retained in the video for the trolling or whatever it is, and then also see this like very talented surfer surf and incline them to go on GFL, Surf Haven, KSF, or Momentum Mod.
Yeah, the smurfing videos are always fun to watch, or
Yes.
like pro acts like a beginner. Like I watch if you know who Davey 504 and the Do are.
No, but I will.
They're musicians on YouTube.
Oh, the bass player.
Bassist and then a guitarist respectively. They've done videos like that where they're like protege, not proteges. I'm blanking on the word for some reason. They're amazing, basically. Like they're phenomenal at their instruments, and they'll go in and be like, "Hey, bass teacher, I'm trying to learn how to play bass. Can you teach me?" And they'll pluck it poorly and use the wrong play the wrong chords and be real slow and whatever, and then just bust out like an awesome riff and surprise the teacher, and it's really fun to watch. So yeah, a similar surf content would be kind of funny.
And it's not like a new idea, but it's the cross
Yeah, right.
application of an idea that works, and then we'll turn it into our own thing. Because obviously, where's the work coming from for this content to make it original? It's Levi Roldar, you whoever it is, putting thousands and thousands of hours of work into this, and then performing in the CS:GO server, making people making people react to it interestingly, and then converting that into content. So there's it doesn't feel as dirty as it could possibly be. Now, I know that was a long answer to your question, which could have seemed simple, but I have lots of ideas. I just need time.
Right.
For people who are listening and want to fucking help, add me on Discord. I should make a Discord or something like that, where I basically will just say, okay, today we're gonna prototype Surf Battle Royale, and we're all gonna get onto a private server on KSF, and then the bottom 32 people will just leave, and we'll record it and whatever.
Yeah, organize some events and all that. It'd be really awesome.
Exactly. Not only does it convene everybody who currently exists in the community, it's an entry point for people, but it'll still be, it's not entry enough. But we'll see what happens. I have a lot of hope. And I'm very thankful to you and to Marble and everybody who's just talking to me and allowing me to put up a quick podcast and edit it just so that I can get partnered, but also so that it's good content for y'all, because this is the content that I always wanted. It's not me, it's y'all that are speaking and give information out to people that they really want to hear, and something to put on while you're surfing. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I could talk about surf for hours, so I'd probably teach a college course on it at this point. So nice 3-credit class for y'all. But yeah, no, I really appreciate what you're doing. The videos are great. Super great talking to you and getting all this out there. So
thank you so much, my man. All right, have a good one.
Yeah, you as well.
Like Marble, Manana did a fantastic job. Having had time to make more interesting and precise questions, this episode felt smoother for me, but in retrospect, I may have moved us away from compelling topics to keep the conversation moving. Next episode may be someone a little different. Darth Elmo, a bastion of the combat surf community, but I may also delay that for a big combat surf content block in July. If you're a KSF member or established surfer interested in speaking with me, content or not, add me on Discord. And as always, good luck sliding those triangles.